Dear students, we are going to learn about a poem, know about a poem. That poem is very interesting. The name of the poem is The Road Not Taken. This poem, beautiful poem, is written by Robert Frost. Let's start this poem. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveller. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the underneath. This poem is written by Robert Frost. In this poem, Frost says, once he was walking down a road and then there was diversion. There were two different paths and he had to choose one out of them. The poet says that as he was one person, he could travel on one road only. He had to choose one out of these roads. So he kept standing there and looked at the path very carefully, as far as he could see it. Before taking the path, he wanted to know how it was. Was it suitable for him or not? He was able to see the path till from where it curved. It happens in our life also. When we have choices, we have alternatives, but we have to choose only one out of them. We take time to think about the pros and cons, whether it is suitable for us or not. Only then we take a decision on what path we should go. Second stanza. Then took the other just as fair and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though, as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. In this stanza, the poet says that he kept on looking at one path for a long time to check if it is the right path for him or not. And then he decided and started walking on another path because he felt that the both paths were equally good. He says just as fair. So he felt that both paths were equally good and started walking on one of them. He adds that maybe he felt that the path was better for him, so he chooses it. But he is not sure about his choice. As in our life, we are not sure about our choices. Not many people had walked on this path earlier, that's why the path was grassy. And wanted where means that it was not walked over by many people, he thought. After he walked on the path for some distance, he realized that both the paths had been worn out the same way. Both the paths were similar and worn out. Even in our life, we take any path or option, but all of them have the same problems, advantages, benefits, disadvantages, problems, and challenges, and we must face them. We think that we are choosing a better option, but it is not that way. Third stanza. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden Blake. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. Here, the poet says that both the paths were similar. That morning, both had leaves on them, and no one had stepped on them as they were still green in color. He decided that that day he would take one path and keep the other path for another person. Although he knew that one way leads to another way. He knew that he could not go back on the choice that he had made. Similarly, even in our life, once we choose an option, we must keep on moving ahead with that option, and we never get a chance to come back and take the other option that we had left earlier. Next stanza. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made the all the difference. Here, the poet says that in the future, he will take a deep breath and say that once upon a time he had reached such a point in life that there were two options for him, and he traveled on that road which had been traveled upon by lesser number of people. Means he had chosen a different path. That decision of his decided his future. Similarly, in future, when we grow up, then we will say that once upon a time, when we were young, we had two options. The choice that we made us what we became of it. This is a very strong message for us that we should be wise and be careful while making choices out of the options that we have in our life, because our future depends on the choice that we make.